Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing okay. I wanted to come back today for a new video. I think 2-3 weeks maybe. I showed my new Nubian Thoth Tarot, and I want to thank you all for your really positive and sweet feedback. You know, I really appreciated that. But in that video I already mentioned fixing up some beautification, some little things, right? And there were some cards I was like not really sure about. I mean, the Fool I already talked about. I wanted to change that. But in that process of really working with it and see what worked and what didn't work, yeah, I did make some bigger changes, some smaller changes, you know, and I think I have my deck now, you know, with the changes made. You know, I was really happy when it came in. It energized me, so to speak. So I wanted to do a little bit of a quick flip through, you know, to see the changes. In my first video, I put the deck next to the original Thoth. So, well, you could see the correlations or where I'm coming from in that sense. But because I already have that video, you know, if you really want to, I will do it. Put it in the description with the new one then. But for now, I just wanted to put, well, the first version and then, well, now the newer version next to each other to show you where the differences were. And yeah, the little beautifications, if I even remember. But mostly the differences. So we're gonna be a little bit quicker, especially when cards are still the same, you know. So let's start with the first. So this is the older version. I already said I was not loving this Fool. So I changed the Fool, and I'm absolutely loving my Fool right now. So this is the new Fool. I think it's much better. I'm really loving this. For me, even though I can go on with chaotic scenes, because sometimes in collage art I really do love that. But here I was not feeling that. So like I said, I started from scratch, you know, and as you can see, some of these elements still come back, right? I mean, the roses, but a little bit smaller, right? All of these elements come back. I mean, I had here the white dove on the snout of the crocodile. Here I placed it flying. I had here purple grapes, and I changed them to, well, greener grapes, so it would pop a little bit better on the card, you know. One thing I also added now were the zodiacs in the Fool card. And where here that burst of fire is, yeah, I now play that I had here in the back, I now placed a little bit like the original here in that center. The snakes and the staff, I'm forgetting the name, I'm sorry, I placed now very subtly here on her t-shirt. So like I said, all these elements come back, but yeah, the card definitely changed, and I'm loving this version. What do y'all think? Which one you prefer? I prefer this one. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, this stayed the same. I didn't change anything about this. The same with the high priestess, sorry, and the empress and the emperor. These are all the same. Here I did a little beautification. I placed the Scorpio a little bit more up front because it was kind of disappearing here, huh? So yeah, that was a little beautification thing. Here it stayed the same, but I added the two children. I didn't do the black versus white because I think that's just a duality inside of us, and that is not always black and white or good and evil, you know. I know in that time they had some opinions. Anyway, the rest of the cards, like I said, oh, and another change, the Lilith and Eve symbols I tried to place here, but now it cut off a little bit, so I might put them back in the wings, because here it got cut off a little bit and here it's really on the border, or I need to place them a little bit more inside. Yeah, that was also a small change I tried to do, but I'm not truly happy. So I might play with that, but that's more of a minor detail. I mean, like I said, the children are present now in the Lover's card. So I like this one. The Chariot, of course, stayed the same. This card took me forever. Adjustment is the same. Yes, I played with color again, or the light flashes. I think I said in my first video that it drove me nuts. Well, it still drove me a little bit nuts, but I think I got a good balance. Like, it wasn't too much, yet these flashes do attract that attention of us. The fun part for me was this and the little sperm thingy, you know, they popped a little bit more, while here they kind of disappeared in the green background, and here with these flashes of light they did pop out a little bit more. So this turned out, even if it drove me nuts, but it turned out to be successful. I was afraid that maybe if I printed it, because when you put it on screen in when you're designing, it's one thing. How it comes out is always a different thing. So I was afraid it was maybe too much, but yeah, once I had it, I was actually pretty happy with the results. So yeah, this one definitely a success and a change. The wheel stayed the same. I still love my wheel. Lust stayed the same. This one stayed the same as well. The Hanged One or Hanged Man. Death also stayed the same, no changes. I wanted to bring this one, this flash of lightning, more, that it popped out more, but it got darker, and I know from what I have to the printer, the hue of color always changes a little bit. So I was going back and forth, and I decided to just leave it, you know. It's not like we cannot see it, so I actually decided to just leave it at that. So actually nothing changed here. Here I had a little beautification. It was not all the way to the top when they cut, so I put that a little bit up. I even placed a little bit of extra stars, as you can see, you know, the representation of nude. So no big changes, but like I said, a little beautification. The tower stayed the same. Yeah, this one was not going to change also. I love my star card. The moon also, no changes. Everything is perfect there. The sun too, no changes. Like I said, in all honesty, there are more no changes than changes, but this one did change. I was feeling a little bit like I was missing something in this card. So I placed, first of all, the corners in there again. The man as representative of Aquarius. The air sign. The Scorpio for the water sign. The bull for the earth sign. And the Leo for the fire sign. And then I started to work with the background. You see there's a little bit more color here, but I brought it back to that green, to that pop, to that eye, right? This eye, but also the form of, yeah? So I think I actually like this, because she is also a little bit bigger, as you can see, compared to this one. So she's coming more out of that card, you know? So I think this is what it's gonna be. I like this, but I was missing something here. Like I said, the moment I was playing, I changed the background to something more, because she is already that beautiful melanated, right? And then these oranges, she kind of faded in that color. So I thought with this, she really popped out, and I blew her up a little bit. And I think I like the way this came out right now. So yes, that was a change. Okay, no change here. No change there. No change. Okay. I think most of these didn't really have a change. I wanted to do something here in the background. So I didn't change this one now. But I might in the future. I will not do a whole video. I will just show it off then. But there's something I want to do here in the middle. Or not, we will see. So yeah, like I said, all of these stayed the same. Here I did the little beautification. It was all the way to the top, so I brought it a little bit down so that the whole wand staff thing was showing. And the next one did change. I was already loving this. One thing I didn't like, that there was no connection. Even though she's touching the tiger, he's like looking over her head. So I started to play, and I love this one because he's looking down while she is looking up. So there is that connection between them. And then I was like, okay, this color is perfect, but can I bring a little bit more texture into that? Like, well, the photographs that I'm using through the deck, right? So I searched and I searched and I found something that's like in a cave, yeah. Of course you see that less because the pictures are big, but it brought that color, it brought some texture into that color, which again, I really love this result. And again, that connection now between them, yeah, they are looking at each other. So I think that was a success. I prefer this one over this one. So yeah, really love this change. No change here. It's actually one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorites, but it's one of my favorites. There's something about this card that breathes, that vibrates. Really love this. No changes here either. She's beautiful just as she is. And no changes here. This knight, or well, Black King, yeah, he is beautiful. Oh, here we go again. I'm sorry. Let's see, where is my... All right. Okay, let's go from here then. So that was the ace, no changes. I tried to work by making it smaller, but it happened what I was fearing, you know, that it kind of disappeared in the snake. So I left it the way it was because it is beautiful. No changes here. Yes, here I popped that color up more because in the original Thoth we have that orange color kind of popping out. I think this is a little darker, but it's bringing that coloration back in the card, while here I kind of faded the bridge a little bit. So I think I prefer this one, even though this didn't change, but it pops out more with this color on the card. So yeah, this is the change. No changes here. And no here. This also stayed the same. Okay, I did pop the green in here. Behind the flower, you see the leaves, you know. I don't know if I'm a fan. I might want to experiment with different kind of leaves. But I don't know if I'm a fan. Like I said, I might experience with some different kind of leaves, but... I think at this point I prefer this one over this one. But again, maybe I need to experience with some bigger leaves and then not everywhere. I might play with this card a little bit more. So it did change, but this might not be the end result. Even though overall the deck is how I want it. Yeah, no changes here. This all stayed the same. This too. She will never change. This is the most beautiful thing ever. This is the most beautiful card. I love this card. No changes here. Okay, I did make a little change here because I ended up not having too much space above his head. I have the wings with the bull head, and I had it very small here, which didn't bother me, but it kind of disappeared with the cutting of the card. So the only place I could do it was on the side, but then it kind of felt, if I had one, it felt like, okay, it's misplaced. But by placing it in mirror effects, it worked, you know. So this is what it will be. There will be two sets of them then, but then they're like in a mirror effect, which is better than one on the side or something very small, because then I needed to make it smaller, you know, here. So this is a small change, but yeah, a change. She's beautiful again, one of my favorites. She ain't going nowhere. She's beautiful. This one too stayed the same. Oh, here we go again. Let's see. Okay. Now it should be in the same order, right? Okay, so this didn't change. It stayed the same. I'm thinking about placing them in mirror effect because I noticed that the last time and then I forgot to change it, that the signs are pointing up. I might still play with that if I'm not forgetting, but the rest of the card will stay the same. It's only the swords that will be, instead of the handles on top, they will be on the bottom, you know? But again, no changes for now. This also stayed the same. Yes, here I did play. I found the card was beautiful, but I found the green to be stale. Like it was not moving, it was not talking, it was not, you know, that energy, right, that the Thoth has. So I placed the coloration behind it, and now it's talking, now it's vibrating. So this definitely, even though it was a very small change, right, but it makes such a big difference. So this one, definitely a good one. Yeah, we're not going to go back to that. This one, this is what it will be. No changes here. Here I had the little beautification. That last line here, it needed to go up like 1 millimeter or something, which I did here. So that was just a beautification. No changes here. None here. Yeah, here we made the big change because I was not feeling this. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I like the card. But when it comes to the Thoth, every time I had that, I like the card. And then I was referring back to, yeah, but it's a Thoth card, right? It's the Thoth 9 of Swords. And then I was like, yeah, in that case, I don't like it. So back to the drawing board, and I did a replica in, like I said, the picture form, right? I mean, that's the point of this deck. It's a replica, but with melanated people, yeah, and in photography collage style. So I ended up with this, and I'm actually liking it. I think when I was designing, I was not a big fan of the perfect droplets, right? But I don't mind it. I think it has something, yeah. And it comes definitely closer to the Thoth than, yeah, this one. I like this card, but not as a Thoth 9 of Swords. So yeah, that was the big change. Yeah, the poisonous drops, the blood drops, yeah, and well, the 9 swords. The 10 didn't change, everything stayed the same. The princess didn't change, she's beautiful. This one changed, and there is a little error in printing. I will try to overlay the picture right now, because that is what it's supposed to be. And I will, yeah, now you're gonna see what it is, because these white circles, they were supposed to be filled in. I don't know what happened. It can happen, you know. It will be corrected, but at least in that sense, yeah, the design has changed, and I prefer this one for sure. Yes, this really gives me that Prince of Swords vibrations. I mean, again, this one was beautiful, but the head I wanted to change, and when I started doing that, I started to change the whole card, and I believe there's a reason. This is why I wanted to work with the deck, because even though I love every card individually, because, well, let's be honest, I made them, so I'm gonna love them. But the moment you work with it, I always have that feeling inside of me, that's that honesty about what you created, right? Like, oh my god, I love this, and meh. And every time I had that meh feeling, yeah, I went back, you know, to the card to see what I could change. And yeah, this was one of them. And I definitely prefer this with, of course, the original, right? Not with the white circles. But again, it was just a printing error. It can happen, yeah. It will be fixed in the next printing. Okay, here, small changes, but I think you can see the background changed. Here I had this blue kind of glittery thing going, and I changed that to white. And I actually added here one extra in there. But the setup in itself didn't really change. It's more the background and some small things, you know. Even though she was popping out here, I feel like she's really popping out here because it's a little bit lighter at the background, so she's literally stepping forward out of that card. So yeah, I like this change. A small one, but still. Here I did make some changes too, in his swiftness, yeah, and how he's following in that sense. I didn't really feel, every time this card came up when I was working with the deck, yeah, I was not feeling the cuts, the direct cut of this blade, you know. So I actually went against, yeah, that swiftness, because this is all going this direction and this one is going, well, that direction, right? So I think I prefer this one, yeah. This one is not so prominent, like, you know. I think I prefer this one, yeah. That connection here that's being made, you know. Of course, the little birdies are still there. So I think I prefer this one. Also because it's a little bit lighter, again, the horse and the knight in this case, right, they really pop out a little bit more. More so, I think, than in this one. So yes, that was a change. I don't know, did I change anything in the cups? I don't think so, but let's go through them. No change. Oh yeah, I did a little thing. This one was on, what's the word? Oh my god. Anyway, I switched it. I flipped it, you know. For some reason, every time this card popped up, this was annoying me. And I don't know why exactly. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it was annoying me. So I flipped it, and then, well, my heart got calm. So that was a little change then. No changes here. I made this all a little bit smaller. You might not really notice it on the video, just to get everything in, because you see I have a little bit more leaf here than I had here, you know. This one is a tiny bit bigger, yeah, but again, I just a little bit, yeah, so that everything would fit on the card. Oh yeah, again, this one was really in fading away in this color, and I was going back and forth about going lighter, and then it actually really faded away, and then I went as dark as I could without really distorting the picture, you know. And even though it's still in that color, but it definitely pops a little bit more out. I hope the video will show it. In real life, this is much clearer than this. So again, it was a little beautification, right? But an important one, because here I really see it, and here I'm needing to look for it. Again, I hope the video will translate that. No changes here. None here. None here. Oh yeah, there is a change. Yeah, not there, but it's coming. No changes here. No changes here. This one is also the same. She's beautiful. The same. I mean, come on, he's awesome. Here we have a change, yeah. The Queen of Cups is my significator card, so she's very important to me. And even though I love this card, I was not a fan of the big Cancer and the shell representation, so I changed it up. I also, because she's very serene and the water is very serene, but I think the Queen of Cups, yeah, I think her power is that serenity, that going inwards, right, in her feelings, even when everything, yeah, is swirling around her. So I did place some extra water in here to show that, even though the rest is still calm, you know. So I placed those two big ones here. I made the leaves a little bit smaller, and I also, instead of a white lotus, I put there a blue lotus. I think, yeah, I did some extra light pops here instead of one big one. But yeah, this one is perfect for me. I love this, but again, I was annoyed a little bit with this. Every time it came up, like I said, this is why I want to play with it, you know, to see, well, what is annoying me and what isn't. So I'm definitely preferring this one. I'm happy with the end result, and I'm happy I dove into this one a little bit extra, you know. And in this one, there are no changes. So as you can see, there are big changes, other are beautifications, others are, again, a little bit smaller changes, you know. But yeah, I worked at it again, and I think, yeah, I might have an awesome deck right now. I'm still loving my Fool. Yeah, this fool is everything. I so love her. I was really not liking her. Not her, but you know, the card. I'm personifying here. But yeah, there was something about this. It was just not working for me, and I remember really getting stuck at a certain point, you know, when I was doing it. And then, like I said, now going back, yeah, especially because the deck was ready right now. Now going back with a fresh mind, with fresh inspiration, and this came out, and again, I was very happy. I was very, very happy. Okay, so yeah, that was it. I hope you like the changes. Please let me know. And I want to thank you for, again, your first kind and sweet and inspiring responses in the first video. And yeah, again, I do hope you like the changes. Like I said, with the small things, I'm still working at it. But it might be ready. It is ready. Like I said, there might be minor this and that's, you know. Still loving the back, so no changes there. So yes, this is it, the Nubian Thoth Tarot. It's amazing. I love it. Again, let me know what you think. I want to thank you all for being here again. Wishing you a fabulous rest of your day, and I wish you all to stay blessed. I hope to see you soon again. Okay, bye bye.